Prime Minister. After meeting King Charles III at Buckingham Palace, Burnham officially took over from Keir Starmer, who stepped down after just 2 years in office. In his farewell, Starmer said he was proud of his record and insisted Britain was stronger than when he took office. And for more on this, Professor of International Relations at the University of the Witwatersrand, Professor John Stremlau, joins us on the line. Prof, good afternoon and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Thank you for having me on.
Now, Professor Stremlau, what do you make of Burnham's rise to the highest political office in the UK and Starmer's departure?
Well, it's a little confusing because it's the sixth prime minister in a decade, and I can't keep them all straight. But Andy Burnham is a very interesting choice at this stage in the U.S. And European relationships now, and I think that Africans should be tracking this fairly closely.
Now, Burnham has literally hit the ground running. He wasted no time in offering potential solutions to the cost of living crisis, as he's already announced on his second day in office that he will cut value-added tax or VAT on energy bills. What urgent issues do you think the new Prime Minister will want to address to impress the UK voters?
Well, that's an interesting question because he's right in responding to the voter interests in cutting taxes, but he's stretched thin, to say the least, on his budgets that are now increasingly oriented toward defense, and he's not able to meet the bills that the Defense Department is accumulating, and he's got a Ukraine a war on his hands, and Donald Trump is not being terribly helpful. He's more responsive than I would have expected at the NATO summit recently, but still, it's a very tough hand to play for Burnham.
Now, the new Prime Minister has appointed John Healey as Chancellor and has a majority of members based in the north of England. Are you surprised at the composition as it includes some old faces?
Well, the old faces are the revolving door question of six prime ministers in the last decade, and they're trying to sort out their priorities, and I think that the Liberal Party is the best hope for Britain, given that Farage is like threatening to upend British politics, but I would hope that Andy Burnham can control this situation so that you have a Britain that is reliable.
And just in wrapping up, Prof, with a burning question on everyone's mind is whether Burnham and Trump, whether he will allow the US to use British bases to bomb Iran. Starmer was quite, steadfast on his stance that he would not allow it. Are we going to see a different stance going forward?
Well, that's an interesting question for all of Africa's governments to ponder, because this takes away from the resources that could benefit this continent, and I expect that Trump will pressure Burnham to allow the U.S. to continue to use British military and the bases in Fairport and Diego Garcia as intensified bombing campaigns in Iran. But you know, Africa is not favorable toward the U.S. Attempts to kill leaders in Iran and disrupt the Strait of Hormuz. And it impacts Africa very strongly. And the popularity of the Iran war may end up bringing down Donald Trump, which would be a good thing. But I don't know whether that Africans can afford the cost.
Oh, Professor Stremlau, we have run out of time and are going to leave it there for today. Thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Thank you.
It's a Professor of International Relations at the University of the Witwatersrand, Professor John Stremlau. It is 12:52 Central African Time.